Welcome to episode 6 of the Hoof Football podcast, and I'm delighted to say I'm back. And I'm also joined by an almost full cast of Joe, Lewis, and Charlie. Josh was meant to be here, but he woke up too late in true uni fashion. But never mind that. How are we doing, lads? Anyone enjoying the international break? No, that's a no from Joe. That's a no from Charlie. Lewis?
No, it's been all right. Obviously, I've not really watched the England games because I've been working, but it looks like it's quite straightforward. We've qualified for the World Cup. More interested that Cape Verde have
Yeah,
actually
that Cape Verde.
qualified. Jordan as well. Do you know what I mean, there's a lot of newcomers to the World Cup scene, but no, just I've not really been paying too much attention.
Bebe's going to be thrilled. Bebe's
Yeah.
going to be absolutely thrilled. Any other surprise nations qualified that you're intrigued about, Joe? I feel like you probably haven't looked or cared.
No, I saw Big Nick scored. That's all I'm
That's all you
interested
care
in.
about. Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. Charlie, anything of note for you in the international break?
No, I think probably like the most, well, not actually, no, the most unsurprising thing I saw was San Marino get battered 10-0 by Austria.
On out of which would fall.
Yeah,
But I think we can all agree that Israel losing 3-0 is great fun. So free Palestine is all I'll say on that. Speaking of things, as we are currently, today we're going to talk about the worst performing signings in the Premier League thus far. There is one kind of stipulation with that, in that we're not including any of Liverpool's big boys. So Isak and Verts, they're not going to be in there. No one needs to hear more about them, and Joe would just run for 40 minutes on his own about Isak. So we don't really have time for that, to be honest. So I'm going to hand the floor over now. Probably will go to Joe first, because why not? He looks thrilled. I'm going to hash this out to determine basically who is the most disappointing Premier League signing so far. So Joe, please.
Well, my first one, I've got Milos Kerkez actually, and so another Liverpool signing, but not quite as big of a fee. I think the expectation that he came to Liverpool with, obviously doing so well at Bournemouth, he was quite a good match for their style. But it's not really translated to Liverpool. You see him diving into tackles, he's getting beaten all the time, and he just looks like a bit of a loose cannon, to be honest. He's not really helped with Liverpool's defensive problems. He's probably one of the reasons why they've started to struggle a little bit. But yeah, I think at Bournemouth, people thought that that's a good transition, that's a good move to make. But he's been very unreliable actually. He's causing more problems for the defense. He's been caught out of position. So I think for the fee, the expectations, I think he's just massively disappointed, to be honest.
I mean, I had him. I've got a list of 10 names down, like I've said. That I'm just going to chuck in as and when, but I did have him on there. Um, I think he's a big money sign. He's got more yellow cards for diving than assists, so you know, it's not great. Yeah, he has looked very shaky as well. I'd say. Yeah, that's fair. Not great. Charlie, you got one?
I've kind of thought through, and Brian Mbuemo was definitely like a main player that came to mind. I mean, the fee of 70 mil, I feel like some would say that was probably a good value for him since he did really well at Brentford last season, scored 20 goals, made 7 assists in the Prem. But this season, I feel that he's not been what United expected. He's only scored, I think, is it 3 goals for United so far, and they were against Grimsby Town, Burnley, and Sunderland, who you have to look at them as low tier sides, basically, in English football. And the way I've seen him play as well for United is that, like, dribbling wise, he's not been too bad. Crosses have been a bit poor. His like attacking style has looked threatening, but there's not been like a finishing touch on the end of it for any of his crosses or even for any of his shots.
Hmm.
And I just don't think that for 70 million, when you're buying a player for that amount of money, you're expecting some goals. You're expecting some at least some goal contributions, at least an impact for United, and they're still kind of carried on to be this kind of clown team still. Maybe he's going to be good in the long term, but at the moment he's been terrible.
I mean, he did nearly have that goal against City, right? The Donnarumma somehow clawed away. I think
Yeah,
Mbeumo's probably been better than Cunha. So I think if you were going to go United one, I would have gone Cunha personally.
yeah. I mean, I was going to go with Cunha, but I feel as if that I'm sure he's played less games, not obviously by much, but yeah, I think Cunha's even struggled to actually get on the score sheet, to be honest. So that maybe would have been a better shout. But I just thought with how well Mbuemo did last season, I would have expected more.
That's fair. The price tag was steep, to be fair. Lewis, you've been remarkably quiet so far. Tell me yours.
Yeah, so I've gone for I think with Forest so far this season, there's a couple of names that their recruitment's been a little bit haphazard. Obviously, they've had a chaotic start to the season. In the end, I've gone for Kali Mwendo,
Mhm.
the French striker. I just think he's always been a hot prospect in terms of he came through PSG's academy. He was their record sale for an academy product, and he's obviously been at Rennes recently. He scored 17 goals last season, so I think there was a little bit of excitement, and you've always got to be a little bit cautious when someone from like abroad obviously comes to the Premier League, how are they going to adapt to the league, and things like that. But I think it's just more around the move itself. He's currently behind Igor Jesus in the team in terms of Ange Postecoglou's come in and he's not really got a shout at all. I think he's played 65 minutes in the Premier League this season, he's yet to start. And then obviously Chris Wood has always been the focal point last season, especially under Nuno Espirito Santos. He's not really since coming to the club. I just don't think it's kind of paid off for him. I don't think it's worked out. I think that it's like he's 25 million pounds, and I think for me we're yet to see anything from him. And I understand that maybe it's not necessarily his fault. And you've obviously all alluded to signing certain players where it's more their performance. And for him, it's more that he's just not getting a chance and why have they maybe signed him in the first place? Because coming in, there was an expectation that he's a very good player who's going to help this team, especially going into the Europa League. But I don't even think really he suits their style of play. Like Forest, for the majority of last season, played like a large proportion of their games in that kind of progressive play style and it was a lot of obviously counter-attacking football. And he's not necessarily a very strong ball carrier. Again, where does he fit in? If he's going to be behind Chris Wood and Igor Jesus, he can play out wide. He's quite a versatile forward, but you've got the likes of Dan Ndoye, Hudson Odoi, who are better ball carriers. And I don't think he's that creative kind of player that can play out wide. So for me, it's more, I don't think he fits this Forest team. And it's just not really worked out for him. Now, when he first joined Rennes, he did have a struggle in his first season. He only scored 10 goals after a big money move. And then he obviously progressed last season and scored 17. So maybe he can come good. But right now, I just don't think that it's worked out for him.
I mean, to be fair, I think Forest have had a couple of stinkers. Obviously, Amari Hutchinson springs to mind. Club record signing, not in the Europa League squad. 52 minutes all off the bench in the league. It's not great. I actually put Douglas Luiz in as a shout because I think you think about the hype he had when he came in from Juve, how good he was for Villa. They've loaned him in, and when I looked, yeah, he's made 76 minutes in the league against Burnley, and that's it. So there's a lot of hype there. You think he's going to be massive for him, and he just hasn't been. I don't know if Ange doesn't like him. He's done like Brazilians maybe, although he likes Igor
Do you
Jesus.
not think? Do you not think more maybe James McAtee deserves a shout as well because he's come in for 25 million pounds. He's showed a promise under Pep Guardiola. We've known that he struggled at Sheffield United before when he kind of did try and go his own way and get that first team football. And he's similar to Amari Hutchinson in that maybe it's more that Forest have signed these young kind of exciting players and not used them because of obviously how their seasons unfolded so far. But with Douglas Luiz, I think it's more just that he will eventually get integrated into the squad and that his fitness, he'd been excluded all summer by Juventus. He joined very late in the window. I think that his time will probably come good at some point, or he will start playing a little bit more. But more for like McAtee, I think him and Hutchinson. Hutchinson's been excluded from the Europa League squad, so I think both of them they've kind of not hit the heights so far. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just checking now. I feel like there'd be more expected of Douglas Luiz in the squad. But I know what you mean about him
I
being.
think Douglas Luiz might be injured, to be honest.
I
Yeah,
checked.
I
I
thought
don't think he is. When I looked on transfer marks, it didn't look like he was. I also I could be wrong, but I feel like he was captain at Villa at some point, right? I seem to recall him wearing an armband.
He
Uh,
may have been 2 games when maybe
that's what I
some.
mean, and I feel like there's more expected of him in that role in this side 'cause they need a bit of leadership right now. They are, let's not beat around the bush, quite bad. I don't think James McAtee's going to come in there and bring everyone's heads together and turn that around. Um, so I don't know. I feel like I'll chuck some more names at you. Armando Broja. I'm sure Josh would have said him. Just not very good, is he?
that was
James,
just the fact. That was more the fact that, like, as a Chelsea fan, I don't know how we possibly got around. Was it 20 million pound?
yeah,
Something around that figure for Amado Breuer when the last two seasons we've sent him out on loan to Fulham and then Everton, and both times he barely played for them because of injury. He's got a very poor injury record. He's obviously done his ACL in the past,
Hmm.
and he just hasn't shown any promise whatsoever, other than one season at Southampton where he got 11 goals in the Prem. So yeah, that was more just the fee, I think. But I don't think he's been used at all this season so far, other than like a minute against Liverpool.
Yeah. I've got one here for you, Joe, as well. I've got Anthony Elanga down. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's one of these ones where, I mean, I don't doubt that he will come good at some point. I think obviously with Eddie Howe in charge, you're gonna be okay. But I think at the minute it's not quite what it's a little bit of consistency. You see glimpses against, well, to be fair, both Champions League games he's been very, very good. Against Barcelona, he was probably our best player, and against Union, I don't know how you say their name. Yeah, exactly. He got man of the match. So there has been glimpses where he has been good. It's just not quite consistent enough. Premier League, it's a bit more difficult, especially at home. Teams don't really come and look to attack us. They don't really look like they're a bit more nervous when they play against us. So as someone whose whole game pretty much is running in behind, then you're struggling a little bit.
well,
Yeah,
that was always the worry when you signed him, right? Like he's a transitional player, and
Yeah, I mean, our whole thing is most of our players have some elite physical attribute, whether it's speed, strength, height, whatever it is. Normally, that's one of our criteria.
yeah,
So I think that's what the thinking was. I think as well, his final product's just being a little bit off. I think, like I say, some more time with Eddie Howe would settle a little bit more. Those crosses that are going a bit too long will start finding our players. I think he will turn good, but yeah, at the minute it has been a bit, yeah, not worth what we paid for him.
speaking there like Eddie Howe's Jesus.
I mean, at this point, I've got no reason to believe he's not.
would you not say, Joe, that Johan Wissa is someone just because in terms of it was a heavy fee, and isn't he going to be injured? I'm not sure entirely, but isn't he injured now until at least Christmas? Do you not think
There's that's
do
a
you not think it could be
complete.
more like a panic thing in terms of Voldemort's doing very well, but is he going to fit in this team?
Well, the thing is with Witter, it's a complete fluke, really, what's happened. We've signed him, he's gone away on international duty and got injured straight away after not being injured for the entirety of last season. That's just pure bad luck. I think the plan is to play Voltemada and Wissa together. I think Voltemada likes to drop in a little bit deeper. Wissa likes to run in behind a bit more, so they do naturally work well together, you would imagine. And also, we've got that many games now where we need rotation, we need more players. So I think with that one, the fee was far too high. You can't really deny that, but I think it was also sort of necessary. You can't go into a season with one first choice striker, even two with Asuli. You need more options. So
Yeah.
I'm not too mad again. I trust Eddie Howe completely. So I think whoever we sign, they will come good eventually.
That's fair. I'm absolutely stunned no one's mentioned Mad Samantha.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna shout.
I'm stunned no one's brought him up. Like he was pretty good for Leicester. At least he was largely praised. And in 4 games, he's conceded 11 goals and he's been dropped for the nipple. Like it's a bad few weeks for him. I'm stunned no one's mentioned him.
To be fair to him though, I don't know what the fee was. What was the fee, around 15 million, 20
Wasn't
million,
too
something
bad.
like that? I don't know. It's not too bad a fee, and I think more that West Ham team in general, not just to put onus on him, but like the West Ham team in general, that defense has been awful. Like Jean-Claire Todibo is another one who came in for a high fee that has just never lived up to the expectation. He
Mm.
obviously got made permanent this summer. He's another name that you could have thrown into the mix. I just think that the back line and that team with the core of kind of, again, Fernandez was a very high fee. He's another one. Is he going to come good this season at £40 million, which is a lot for a player that got relegated with Southampton last season? The core of that team with their midfield, I think, doesn't help the goalkeeper, but he has been poor. You can't kind of get around that. I think he does have to be mentioned. Yeah.
To be completely honest, when I watched him at Leicester, he was the games I watched him play, he was terrible anyway. So I wasn't really
What a
Yeah.
expecting much when he signed. So I was to be fair, I was a little bit surprised he was the player that they ended up going for. Because like I say, when I've watched him, he's been well below par. So these bad performances are not something that's really surprised me, to be honest.
You
I
could
think I think you could say that West Ham maybe had the worst transfer window. Like I think they've generally bought players that are definitely overpriced from the fee that they've paid for. Like Lewis said about Mateus Fernandez, like that was a kind of player I was looking at. How Southampton had such an awful season, and I get he kind of at least held the midfield somewhat well, but for a team that only got 12 points in the Prem, and to be bought for a fee of over 40 mil, I think is absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, as you said with like Tadibo as well, what I don't understand if it's just through again the owner's decision whether it was best for Graham Potter's um, style of play, but it's been atrocious for them so far. It's no wonder they're doing so poor this season.
Well, I've got one more name to chuck in there, and then we'll try and make a decision on who we think. It's a little bit punchy, but I've gone with Victor Gyökeres. 57 million pound star striker, and his only goals have come against newly promoted Leeds and Angie's quite possibly relegation bound Forest. I just think get your hands off your face, you big Wally.
I
That's
do agree with that, but I don't
my
agree
feeling.
with. I don't agree that he's been the worst performing
I don't
signing. I
think he's
mean,
been the
Arsenal
worst,
are top of the league.
but I think he's in the conversation. He looks very one dimensional today. He doesn't do a lot. He gets bullied by bigger defenders, and he's just
I do agree that he's not quite as good as what they want,
hmm.
but the I think the criticism has been slightly exaggerated. I think he's not been that bad. Um, I think like he has scored goals, which is I know you say against the opposition it matters, but he has scored goals. I think yeah, his general play has been iffy, but I think once you grow into it, also he's not really been able to be rotated, has he really? Havertz got injured straight away and he's been thrown right in. I think you got to give people a little bit more time in that sort of department. I think he's shown enough to show that he will be decent. I'm not sure he'll be anywhere near like the levels of Haaland or even Isaac when he gets going eventually,
Yeah.
but for now, I think he's shown just about enough.
Okay. Well, I think it's time we make a decision. Really, I think out of the ones we've got there, it seems Kirk has been called the most. I don't know if anyone's got a one they want to kind of put forward as the proper top one more than that.
Um,
Anthony Elanga. No,
Big
no.
Nick.
I was going to say Garnacho because I just hate him, but that's just
Gittins would
personal
be worse than
bias.
Garnacho. So
Nah, but we didn't need. Yeah, okay, but I feel like with no, but I feel like with Gittins it's harsh just because what is he, 19, 18 years, like 19, I
21.
think.
Hang
Or was
on.
he 21?
Yeah.
All right, I always thought he was much younger than he was. Okay.
No.
But I just think that Garnacho, like, we knew more so just what he did for United, which was absolutely nothing. And I think we've sold Madueke, who's gone to look good at Arsenal,
Mm.
and then basically brought him in as almost like a replacement, but we haven't upgraded or looked better or got better.
I mean,
And I still can't forgive him for the Brentford thing
that's fair.
last minute.
Gittins was the same fee as Madueke, and he's inevitably a downgrade. So might not be in the future, but right now, massive downgrade. So I
Yeah, but
think
50 million on Garnacho for me is like at least Gittins has a little bit more promise. We've seen that he's a very much like Sancho profile kind of player in terms of he had a good run in the Champions League a couple of seasons ago and like he continues to look good for Dortmund last year. It's going to take time with him. Whereas Garnacho's in the Prem, it's the same league. There's no rubbish about trying to adapt, even though some people with Isak say that you can adapt to the same league apparently. But
Sancho famously
I
did well
think
in the
that
Premier League as well. So yeah,
yeah, but I just think that with Garnacho, he's a player that's already in the Premier League but not proven. So I just don't like him to be fair.
yeah, I know. Are we agreed on Kirk as being top of this list, Charlie?
Yeah, I can agree with that. Just, I guess we've compared with other players that we've mentioned. At least they've, even though they may have not consistently performed well, they've at least had like a few games where they have stood out. I think
Mm.
with Kirkes, he's just there's not really. It just he looks hopeless now. I feel.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think it'd have to be Kirkes based on my option was more there was no expectation because he's coming to a new league and obviously
Hmm.
he's kind of a young player, whereas Kirkes had this high expectation and then it's just not worked out for him so far. So yeah, I think Kirkes is probably the best shout in terms of excluding obviously Isak and Wirtz.
Well, there you have it. Milos Kerkez is the most disappointing signing in the Premier League so far. It's time for a quiz. We'll be back after a short break. Hello and welcome again to Hoof. It's time for the quiz now, and it's time for someone to claim Josh's crown after his three-peats. To be honest, in my opinion, I think he should be stripped of all his titles for this late cancellation. But hey ho, we'll go into it. Question one. Man United travel to Anfield on Sunday, a ground where they haven't tasted victory since January 2016. How much of their lineup that day can you name in a minute?
Wait, so who is it, sorry?
The Man United January 2016 lineup when they went to Anfield. You've got 1 minute to name it.
Oh, this is gonna be.
It was Louis van Gaal in charge that day.
Louis van Gaal was in charge,
They got a
right?
1-0 win.
He definitely played. But I look so close to the camera, it's just that I'm reaching to my desk to write down my answers.
I'm definitely mixing up all my Man United eras here.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's the issue with me. Oh my god, I was meant to put a different. God's sake.
So there's a couple of great players on the bench here that I'll run through. Cameron Borthwick Jackson on the bench. Paddy
God.
McNair on the bench. Um, Guillermo Varela on the bench. Just running through players that you probably won't have guessed. You got 20 seconds. Why not?
Oh my god. Jesus, this is wow, this is a lot harder than I expected.
Can't think of a striker. Well, I've got too many.
18.
Well,
Right.
mine's blank.
I haven't got a striker.
Well, get down your answers because you've got 5 seconds.
I
4,
Oh, I've not even got 11
3,
players in.
No, I
2,
don't.
1. Pens down. Pens
Okay.
down. Joe, we'll start with you.
Okay, that's get the worst out of the way first. I like it. I've got De Gea, going for Juan Mata, Ibrahimovic, Chris
Okay.
Smalling, Matic. Couldn't think of a right back, so I put Antonio Valencia and Wayne Rooney.
Okay. Charlie?
I had De Gea, Luke Shaw, Matic, Rooney, Lukaku, and I've also got Anthony Martial in there as well.
Okay. Lukaku in 2016 is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Lewis?
I had De Gea, Matteo Darmian, Lindelof, Smalling, Luke Shaw, Morgan Schneiderlin, Lingard, Herrera, Mata, Di Maria, and Rooney.
Okay, I can tell there's a clear winner from that bit.
Yeah.
Charlie and Joe, you tied on 3. Lewis, you got 7. The
Yes.
actual lineup is De Gea in goal, Ashley Young at right back, Chris Smalling and
Oh,
Daley Blind at centre back, and Matteo Darmian at left back. 2 defensive midfielders were Morgan Schneiderlin and Mariwan Fellaini. And then it was Ander Herrera, Jesse Lingard, Anthony Martial, and Wayne Rooney up top. Moving
Yeah, that's
on.
pretty poor showing from me and Charlie.
Yeah, it's not great, lads, if I'm honest. You're going to have to really pull this back now. Question 2. Ruben Loftus-Cheeks secured his 11th England cap last week as England beat Wales 3-0. But when was his last cap before that? Was it 2017, 2018, 2019, or 2021? And you get a bonus point if you can tell me the team it was against.
I wouldn't have a clue.
That is the point of the question, Charlie.
yeah, I'm done.
Cool.
I'm done.
Joe?
Yeah, cool.
Cool. Lewis, we'll start with you this time, mate.
2018, and I've guessed Panama.
Okay. Charlie?
I've gone with 2019, but I just can't think of a country, to be honest.
Okay. And Joe?
I've also gone 2019. I've just put Belgium, just random.
Okay, I can tell you no one got the country. It was the US. But it was 2018, so Lewis gets another point.
Oh.
He's flying. Question 3. Bottom of the Premier League Wolves play Sunderland on Saturday, having scored just 5 league goals so far. But which other Premier League team has scored just 5? Is it A, Newcastle, B, Burnley, C, Aston Villa, or D, Forest? Which of those teams has scored 5 Premier League goals this season?
I don't know if this is a trick question
I don't know. It would be a trick question.
because everyone knows that Villa have barely scored, but what if Villa have got less?
Mm, mm.
They
Would I do
won
that?
as well against Burnley 2-1. So I'm thinking if that added,
How much time we getting here? Come on.
Right,
Well,
yeah, I'm
Do
done.
need to
I've
answer.
locked in my answer. I've locked in my answer.
Okay, Charlie, we'll start with you this time, mate.
I've gone with Forest.
Okay, Lewis
I've gone Villa in the end.
and Joe.
Forest.
The correct answer is Nottingham Forest.
I'm back.
We had like 5 points behind Chelsea. Yeah, let's
No,
not get
four
too
behind now.
proud.
4 behind now. Question 4, fittingly. Australia's A-League kicks off on Friday. Can you tell me which teams won it the most? Is it A, Sydney FC, B, Melbourne City FC, C, Central Coast Mariners, or D, Melbourne Victory?
Yeah, I'm done.
I've got mine.
Yeah? Okay. Joe, go on.
I'll go Melbourne victory.
Okay. Charlie?
I also went with Melbourne victory.
Lewis?
I also went with Melbourne victory.
Sydney FC, I'm afraid. It's
Oh,
Sydney FC. So to the final question, the scores on the doors are currently Lewis with 8, Joe and Charlie with 4. So
I heard this last question was worth 5 points.
I haven't heard that. Um, I have heard if you get it on the dot, closest answer wins. If you get it on the dot, you can have 3 points. Why not? Bit of fun. Um, no, if you get it on the dot, you can have 5 points. Why not?
Yeah, thank you.
You get it on the
Oh
dot,
God, the
5 points.
1 week that I'm in line to win and we're doing all these kind of little games.
On
Carry
the
on.
dot, you get 5 points. Okay. Question number 5. Coventry City now sit top of the championship, having also scored the most goals in the division. But how many have they scored? Closest answer wins. 5 points.
I
Oh,
actually think I know this.
I
no,
literally
I've
looked the
actually
other
been
day.
looking at this recently as
I looked
well.
the other day.
Oh,
I'm
Ready
done.
to go then, guys?
I've got
Done.
my answer, but
Okay. So Joe's ready. Lewis, you
Yeah, I'm
ready?
done.
Charlie?
Yeah.
yeah,
Lewis, we'll start with you because you're winning.
27.
Okay. Charlie?
I also went with 27.
Joe?
Well, it is 27.
It is 27. So
Oh,
what a pointless
Get
question.
in.
What a pointless question. That's a new high
Give
score,
me
then.
the extra 5 points.
That is a new high score for Lewis Eady. Um, well, it's a respectable show in all round. It's Charlie on 9, Joe on 9, and Lewis on 13. So, what a great week of quizzing. What a great
Because
week.
I'm wearing my football shirt, that's why. Locked in today.
What it is. That's what it is. Yeah, great. Tried to make some Jeopardy, and you all got the same fucking answer. Cheers, lads. Okay. Well, Charlie, do your trivia. Go on.
right. So, what I spoke about earlier, obviously Austria beat San Marino 10-0, and it made me think, with your supported clubs, what is your biggest Premier League win you have ever had in the club's history? So, I'll give you a bit of time, just one by one. Just think of basically the biggest Prem win that your club's ever had. The only thing I will say for you, Lewis, is that Chelsea have 2.
Do you want the clubs as well, or do you just want the score?
I want the score, the clubs, and the season as well.
Okay, okay.
To be fair, I feel like Newcastle might have 2 as well, do they not?
From what I checked, no, but that could be wrong. I literally just checked this on the Premier League website.
Ooh.
I've got mine. Season, I'm not sure of, but I've got it.
This is
Yeah, I've
Premier
got
League.
mine
It's
as
not
well.
like first division going back to like before 19.
Yeah, yeah. I think we beat West Brom in the 30s by about 12-0. I'm pretty sure.
Shame that's not on the list.
I'll also put down the second answer that I think might be there just in case.
No.
I'll let you do that as well.
What a nerd. Look at this guy. Oh, I'm Joe and I know my football club. Great.
I know my Newcastle ball knowledge.
I'm probably having to go the furthest back here, right?
Yes, yeah.
I was going to say, I'd have
Not
thought.
by too much though. Not by too much.
Okay.
Have we
Okay, I'm done.
answers by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. We'll start with Joe.
Well, I've gone an 8-0 win versus Sheffield United 2 seasons ago. But the second one I've also gone for was an 8-0 win against Sheff Wednesday. It was like 1997, 98, I think, maybe along those lines.
I I don't have that written down, but that could be.
It might not have been 8-0.
It may have probably been like I might have been like 7-0 or something because I think from what I was looking at, it was all like 8-0, 8-1, or 7-0 at
Oh
most.
no, Newcastle United defeated Sheffield Wednesday 8-0, September 1999.
Yeah, I've just Googled that.
Oh well, that's well done, Joe. That's
The
more that
shame.
I
It's in
say.
absolute
So
disarray.
that's basically it's poor from me.
That is poor from you, Joe.
But we'll
Surely
move
you're
on.
supposed to be the stat man.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll move on. Ben, I'll go with yours. And this,
Surely ours is quite easy. It's the 8-1 win over Man City, right?
yeah, which
Was
season?
it 07-08?
It was, yes.
Come on.
So
Full 5-year-old me.
so far. Lewis, no pressure. Can you name the two from yours for
Right,
Chelsea?
I know that I've got two, but they're different scores just because I don't know. I want to try and get
No, it works,
specifics.
mate.
Now, so I know that we beat Wigan 8-1, I think it was, or maybe 8-0. And that was, I remember it was the season with the zip collar, which was 9-10, I think, Drogba. But then we also beat Villa 8-0. So I'm going to go with the Villa 8-0, but I think that was 2012.
So the Chelsea one against Wigan was 8-0, and it was in that season 09 to 2010. The
Yeah.
Villa one was also 8-0. That was in the season of 2012 to 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got that right. Well done, lads. You know your clubs.
Clean sweep.
My club, Hull City, I can't say we scored 8 goals in one game because that's truly impossible.
You scored
We
8 goals this season.
Yeah, we have actually. Ollie McBurney's been firing in.
Oh,
But our biggest is 6-0 against Fulham, which was 11 years ago.
Imagine not scoring 8 in a Premier League game.
I
Imagine not
know.
doing that.
Shame.
Couldn't be me, mate. Couldn't
Couldn't
have.
be us.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. Maybe we'll have hate people on the podcast next week. Maybe. Probably not. I'll get confusing. I
Chaotic.
don't have that many friends, so I think we'd struggle. On that note, thank you for listening. Make sure to follow us on our socials. They will be linked in the description if Charlie does his job properly. And yeah, we'll catch you next week. And hopefully Josh won't oversleep. So thank you very much. All the best. See you later.